ready to go. Here we go. Turned up? Yeah. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Don, I want you to meet the producer of the picture, Mr. R.F. Simpson. Hello.
How do you do, son? I just saw some of the rushes for the picture and asked Dexter here who the team of stuntmen were. He told me they were all you. I think you've got something, Don. I'm going to put you and Lena together in a picture. Come over to my office after lunch. We'll discuss a contract.
How true that is.
The morning stream, 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 the morning stream,
The morning stream. Better than a pound of jam in your pants.
the morning stream, the morning stream, the morning stream.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the morning stream. It is TMS for April 23rd, 2020. I'm Scott Johnson with Brian Ibbett. Good morning, Brian.
Hi there. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Jam in your pants? I agree.
I never had a pound of jam in my pants.
Yeah.
But I think in the right circumstances, that kind of would be fun.
I mean, if you think about it too much, you get in trouble. But I also agree. I think I might agree with you. I think you might be right.
Just, just walking around. Like, you'd have to have some pants that are waterproof because you don't want the jam escaping.
No, it's no jam. No
you
jam.
Keep that pound of jam. You don't want to be walking around and leave a little trail of jam behind you.
No.
But, like, having a pound of jam in your pants?
Yeah, it's all right.
I don't know. I might be okay with that.
Yeah. I mean,
just trying it once. I mean, just once. Just seeing what it's like.
I'll do it one time. My guess is it'll feel like it'll just be like when you're a kid. You know, you just got a full diaper.
Big full diaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ain't nobody want to clean that. Get in the shower there, I guess. Hose that off. Anyway.
Yeah, that would have. I mean, you'd basically fill it up, fill up your pants, walk around a little bit, and then go right to the nearest bathroom.
Yeah.
Discard the pants.
Yeah. Just get there
get
as
in the
soon
shower,
as you can
just
get
hose
in there.
yourself down,
Yeah.
get all those strawberry seeds out of all the places that they might get.
As fast as you humanly can carry yourself, you get that business done.
Yeah.
And then you lotion
jump
the
off
undercarriage.
the stratosphere with a pound of jam in my pants.
That's
let's do it up.
Let's do it upright. Hey, we're doing it upright today and doing a show. It's a Thursday. That means the usual Thursday nonsense. That is to say, all of it except for the windy part. She's not full of nonsense. She has real stuff to say. And today,
she is, exactly.
We have an email from somebody, and it'll be very good. So I'm looking forward to it. Before we do any of that, a couple things. I'm grumpy today.
Aww.
Not because of the show. The show is an escape for me, so that's not a problem. It's good. This will cheer me up. I'm not worried about that. But for whatever reason, I'm just really grouchy, and I don't know why. Like little tiny stuff setting me off, little teeny things. I'm not dealing with the Thursday very well, and I got to figure out, what my deal is. Have a better game plan for the rest of the day, because I got a lot to do, and I can't be a grumpy old cuss.
You can't get it done if you're grumpy.
No.
And not productive, not successfully. I mean, it'll just make you grumpier, especially if it's like client grumpy. Is that kind of? I mean, do you know what it's from?
I don't. That's the problem. I don't have like a reason.
A blame, like a.
No, just me. That's it. I'm sick of the lockdown. I'm sick of I'm just sick of all that. I'm sick of people dying. I'm sick of things around it. Like all that stuff's getting to me, obviously, but that's getting to everybody. So it's not really a specific thing. I think it's just, you know what it was? We saw Nick yesterday. That's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Nick came over because
he pisses me off too.
Oh,
no, go ahead. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Nick had to work in the Red Wing place up past near us because they needed someone to manage that store. They don't do walk-ins at all. It's like curbside pickup, and they do some repair stuff and some other things. So it's a very different thing that he's doing right now. But man, I got to say this. Red Wing has been so freaking awesome with their employees. They have been amazing. They're paying them hazard pay. They're paying them they're requiring less days at work, but are still paying them full time. They've just been great. Just really great across the board. The way a company should behave during a time like this. They don't just suddenly go, we're out of money, lay everybody off and ask for a bailout. They have the money, they have the ways and the means, and they take care of people, and it's really, really great to see it. I love to see it.
That's good. It's funny because you initially wouldn't think a shoe store would be considered an essential service, but because they are work shoes, they do have to stay open.
They have to stay open, exactly, because you got people who, in the industry or parts of the industry that still need to get that stuff. So
For sure.
So it's not like they're very busy or anything. In fact, it's real dead right now. But they just have been great to take care of him and the rest of those employees. And hats off to them. And screw United and anyone else who does BS.
Haven't heard about United. I've
well,
heard about,
I mean, United asked for a big bailout, got it, and then immediately laid off everybody. Freaking a-holes.
Right.
I didn't like them anyway, so I'm never flying United ever
I
again.
hate United. I heard about like Ruth Chris, getting the bailout money and Shake Shack. Shake Shack was the good company that said, yeah, we don't need this here. Take it back.
Yeah, they sent it back. $10 million or $10 billion? Million dollars, whatever it was.
10 million, yeah.
Probably million, sent it back. Anyway, as a result, Nick was over there. Kim had a bunch of stuff for him to take home that she'd picked up for him and some things he'd left here. And so he came over here, but it was really hard because we are being good. We're not hugging. We're keeping our distance. You all right there, Brian? You got a little something down the wrong hole?
Swallowed, took too big a drink of coffee and 90% of it went down the right pipe.
Yeah, that
10%
10%
of it went down the wrong pipe.
That's all it takes. 10%. That's all you need. The top 10.
Oh, but now I feel that caffeine going through my cilia or my villi, whatever it is in my lungs.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
baby.
That's right to the bloodstream.
It's like if you saw a close up of my eyes right now, it would look just like that Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, except for that last scene with the
except for that one, yes.
Yeah.
That's another way to get coffee, I guess.
Yeah, you can get it that way. So anyway, he came over. We didn't hug him. We didn't do any of that. He wore a mask. Yeah. Kim wore a mask. She made him dinner. He sat on one end of the table. We sat on the other end. We talked. We asked how things are going. We did all this. Probably don't need to go that far, but we did because we're trying to be good citizens here and do the right thing for everyone. And it sucked because you don't like to be that proximity of your kids and not be able to hug them and hang with them and talk, I don't know. It just sucks, man. I think that's why I'm grumpy. I think that's it.
Yeah, that could totally be it. We've had the kids have popped over basically, just into the front door, grab packages because where they live, they can't really, they could get packages, but they'll really just sit outside their apartment door for hours and hours before they get picked up. A little easier to get porch pirated when people have to walk across your porch to get to their apartment.
Yeah, that probably ramps up the chances you're going to get something taken.
Yeah, so they come over, pick up any packages, and it's like, we just wave to them from the other side of the room. Hi, doing okay? Good, all right.
Yeah, so it just sucks. It sucks.
Walmart's been really good for to Tristan as well. They've been taking care of him. Of course, the girls are doing great at the assisted living place because that's one of the safest places you can be if the virus has not gotten into the system there yet, right? Because they are not letting visitors in. They're checking. You got to have your temperature taken every day before you go in. And if you've got any temperature variance, it's like, nah, go home.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that because if it hadn't gotten there yet, then best place to be. If it had gotten there, then it's like a wake of horribleness.
Yeah, totally. But, you know what? I've got an extra. It just dawned on me. Like I've got an iPad 2, like old iPad, but at the very least, the thing could do like I could set up Zoom or Skype or something on there. Let the girls take it to the assisted living place, and if anyone wants to get on video with their loved ones there, they could probably just do that. And it's like, I'm not using it, sitting right there, and I could probably just talk to them.
The two will still run, it will run Zoom and Skype and some other stuff. So yeah,
won't run much else.
No.
It's like
pretty slow.
I could run that monster game or something like that.
Yeah.
So
that thing came out in 2011, so it's old.
Yeah. Gold iPad 2 with the thin beveled edge.
Yes, the beveled edge. Well, that was a lot better than the first one. The first one was a freaking brick. I have that somewhere.
Yeah.
Someplace I have the original, and it's a beast.
Yeah, I've got it.
People forgot how thick that first one was. It's still pretty amazing for what it was. But
I've got it somewhere around here because I was using it as. You remember how there was that wooden arcade box?
Where it is. Yeah.
That you could put it in. I can't remember who. I think Geek sold it, and it was like an arcade frame that you could put it in.
It was called an iArcade, right? iArcade or something?
iArcade, yeah. And it would run the Atari Like you could play all sorts of games on that thing.
Had a little had Bluetooth connection to the joystick that was built into it. Had a light on the coin.
Had a little light up coin slot.
Yep, I have that too somewhere. I don't know where that ended up. I mean, the only problem with that thing is, you know, it's not going to last much longer than a couple of more models of that thing.
No. Well, I mean, still Bluetooth, still would work. I mean, I could probably still use it with my iPad Pro. I'm sure I could.
I don't think the Pro will fit. That thing is huge compared to the old.
I don't have the big Pro. I have the.
Oh, you have the little Pro? I thought you had the big Pro.
I have the little. No, I used to have the big Pro.
Yeah.
And then I got the new one from WBZ Chicago from a donation I made there last year.
Forgot about that. Yep.
Which I'm now paying taxes on. It's like, this is so great. Okay, I have to pay taxes on this iPad Pro that they gave me. Which, all right, you know, granted, that's a lot cheaper than paying for it outright. And I got to say this.
Yeah.
Hairline crack.
Uh-oh.
And I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Oh, maybe if I reflect my screen. Do you see in the top right corner? Like right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Ding.
Yeah. Like it must have taken a header at some point. It wasn't me. I didn't drop this thing, but I'm sure it like took a header and landed just on the corner. The good news is it's in the bezel, right? It's not in the
actual display.
Regular.
Yeah.
No, but every once in a while.
I think I dropped it in the bathroom. It wasn't me. I think I dropped it in the kitchen. It wasn't me.
It really wasn't me, and I think it was when the kids were living here. It might have been that, but every once in a while I'll be using an app, and it'll go back out to the home screen, and I feel like it's probably doing that because of that crack. There's some sort of short that's caused by that deal.
Oh, that would bum me out. I mean, I think they could.
Leninade is fingerprint shaming me. Clean that screen, says Leninade 2020.
Yeah, look, okay. Leninade. Look, we don't just clean our screens when you tell us to. We do it when we want to.
Here, look, brand new screen cleaner.
Hey,
there, happy?
Fun fact, audio listeners, that's Brian's butt. That was not his screen.
That's right. It was. I moved the microphone.
All right. Hey, we're okay. So there's that. We missed the boy. We missed the girls. We're sick of this. It's lame, and I'm in a grumpy mood. We got a nice email though from Ray Z. Sounds like a rapper, the brother of Jay-Z. Ray Z wrote in.
It sounds like what you would pay extra for with Maya 3D rendering program to get it to render faster.
Yeah, some kind of
now
plugin.
with Ray Z.
Yep. This new set of plugins. Ray Z is the most popular for sure. He says this: "Halt the flow of time." Was the subject. His message is, "Hello there, sausage and breakfast. I couldn't help but think of TMS and Fletcher when I was watching Mystery Science Theater 3000 on Netflix. They did an episode about Star Crash when suddenly the Emperor says, 'Computer, halt the flow of time.' I was like, holy crap, I know that quote from TMS. You guys probably already knew that, but if not, well, then now you do." Yes, we did know that because we did Star Crash for FilmSack, and then Fletcher did a read for TMS using that line, and that's why we used the thing. He put his little phone sound in it, but yeah, that's where that came from. Is from that episode of FilmSack where we watched Star Crash.
Star Crash, yeah,
which was great.
Here's the funny thing: I could not even tell you what. Like, if you said, "Hey, what was the plot of Star Crash?" You're like,
kind of Star Wars-ish. Kind of had lightsabers in it, I think. Right, and there was a ship that crashed.
Right, and the guy was kind of stranded on this planet and had to kind of there was a vehicle, a big scuzzy vehicle that wasn't it Winston from Ghostbusters was driving around?
No, you're thinking of what's that one? That's the other one.
That's a different one?
Yeah. Easy to conflate them though because they're very similar kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Cheesy, totally. Terrible. I forgot the name of that. Oh, now I got to remember the Winston from Ghostbusters.
Oh, that's right. That was one with Molly Ringwald. That was Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone.
That's
How could I forget?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're not. I don't fault you for conflating
At
those
some
two.
point, all of these FilmSack movies run together.
Yeah, they're all kind of the same. Anyways, boy, that was a bad movie.
Yeah.
all
the ones we just described. Space Hunter, Star Crash.
They're all pretty bad. Anyway,
Captain Kipper just put a trailer for Star Crash so I can relive that excitement.
Yeah, relive that excitement.
Oh yeah, was this the one where they went to the planet that had all the people in onesies that were used as food.
Maybe. Oh.
And they had stuff written on their onesies.
Let's see. I'm looking.
And then they had to get into this like. No, that's totally different one.
Oh, look at this.
Looking at it now. Did we watch this? No, I'm not remembering.
Pretty sure we did. Let's see. Oh yeah, we saw this, but yeah, okay. I remember this lady. I remember him, and I remember that rock dude. That was a mask. That's right.
Yeah, the one I was thinking of is the one where they had that gauntlet that they had to run through, and people were being not Soylent Green, but people were being turned into food, and
that wasn't not the island, but the we're not talking about Logan.
Another old 70s, 80s thing.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. We've seen all the dumb stuff, or a lot of it anyway.
We really have, yes.
Well, he goes on to say, thank you for the countless hours of entertainment you have given me. I've been a listener for so many Frog Pants shows for so long, since 2013 or so. You're a great mental support through the ups and downs of my life since then. Appreciate you too. Don't stop the flow of the show, yo. Ray from Springville, New York.
Springville, New York. I wonder if that's upstate.
Probably is, right?
Yeah.
Got to be one of those upstate New York things, which has been hit way less by this than the cities, but
than the city for sure. No, not Logan's Run TV's Travis, but is that movie? I saw that movie so many times as a kid, I could probably dictate that.
You like Logan's Run, right? You're kind of a fan.
I do like Logan's Run. There's a very, I don't know. There's just a very calming. Maybe not calming, but it's like it feels like nostalgia from my youth. Seeing that movie so many times.
Sure. Yeah, I like it too. I love the concept of it. I liked The Island. It was basically a remake, even though, it's got its problems, but there's something about it. There's something about that in general I like. Wasn't there a new TV show getting developed, and then they canned it or something? There was something going on recently.
Well, there was a 70s TV show. But I don't know about a new one. That'd be great if there was.
I thought there was a brand new thing. Let's see. Logan's Run. 77 to 78 is the old one. Maybe I'm misremembering that.
Here we go. In August 2010, not Christopher Nolan. In mid-1990s, Warner Brothers began development of a remake. In 2000, ideas for a film remake centered on a more faithful adaptation of the novel, restoring Crazy Horse Mountain and the Sky Gypsies. Thank God, because we need that. In August 2010, Nolan confirmed the long-awaited Warner Brothers remake would be in production 2010 to 2011, that producer Joel Silver announced it would be shot in 3D, and that Carl Wrench would direct from a screenplay then in progress. The death age would be lowered to 21 to match the novel, and the film would be much closer to the original book. However, as of 2018, the film was still in pre-production.
The book, they were 21 in the book, were they?
I guess they were 21 in the book, yeah.
All right. Well, The Island is basically that, so I guess it kind of got made. Sort of.
Kind of, yeah.
But that was
it's still like a
proper
I've never read the book, so I don't know about Crazy Horse Mountain or the Sky Gypsies, but
I mean,
I know I want to know about the Sky Gypsies.
Yeah,
Sky Gypsies!
You've got me all into wanting to know. Tell me more about the Sky Gypsies. I never read it.
Do, yes. Yeah.
So I have no idea what that book's about. Well, I know what it's about, but I don't know much about anything. So bring it on. Call it Sky. What was Captain? What'd you call it? What was the first part? I got the Sky Gypsies.
Crazy Horse Mountain?
Yeah. Just call it Crazy Horse Mountain and the Sky Gypsies. There's your movie name. There's your title.
There you go. Oh, yes. In 3D.
Yeah.
It's Crazy Horse Mountain and the Sky Gypsies in 3D.
Or make it a movie.
We talked about the skate park yesterday. Remember the bulldozers pushing sand into the skate park at Venice Beach?
Yeah, right. We got some photos of that yesterday. It was cool.
Yes. We and I talked about how, now we're going to get some kids just taking their old dusty surfboards or whatever and using that as kind of like do sand surfing like they do on the sand dunes out here. Even better, and I don't know why I didn't think of this, they brought their dirt bikes. A few people reached out to me and let me know. Don Vickers, I think even during the show yesterday talking about it, that now they're out there with dirt bikes just using the skate park now as a dirt bike hill.
Yep. Teenagers find a way. They always do. What did you expect, you guys? Honestly, I'm a little annoyed that no adult in the room when they came up with this plan, the city comptroller or whoever's idea it was, right?
Right.
Did that guy not think to himself, what is it about sand that might attract a bunch of teenagers?
Exactly. They certainly won't come here with sand. Sand is teenager repellent.
That's weird. Now that you've said it, now that we know that, it's kind of dumb.
Now we're going to fill it with water and turn it into mud and quicksand.
I mean, they could have just let it go, because kids are going to find a way. Have we learned anything about kids? It's this: you take a thing away, or you say something's forbidden, and they find a way around it because they want to know why it's forbidden. It's human nature for them to do this. Yeah. Even in this case. So, when I would tell my kids, don't watch that show. That show's got bad words in it or whatever. My kids have tried to find a way to watch it because they want to know what the heck I'm talking about.
Right. They would have had to just get some alligators and put some alligators in there if they wanted. Like, that's how you keep the skaters and the dirt bikers and stuff like that out, is just fill with alligators. Or turn it into a huge ball pit.
Okay. But
there's no way that could, no way that's going to attract anybody.
Yeah. I'm sure ball pits are considered essential now, right?
That's right. There's no way to catch anything in a ball pit.
No. Always free of all disease and bacteria
and urine collecting at the bottom. And
no feces in there.
Dirty diapers.
No. It's a clean place to spend your time. A ball pit.
That's right.
They're really gross is what we're saying. Don't go near them.
They really are gross.
I don't care if the world eradicates all disease. Don't go in a ball pit. That's what we're saying. Yeah. All right. Unless it's your own ball pit. When I was a kid, I always wanted to have my own giant foam or ball pit in my own house that I would control. And I didn't really have any cares then for like if it was going to be gross or not. But I just want to have a big multi-floor, like 3-floor drop pit of foam and or balls. And I want to just jump off of like a high place and just dive into that foam. I wanted that so bad growing up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And your own, because then it's your own stinking filth.
Right.
That's cluttering up the bottom of that ball.
Right.
/
It's
foam.
covered in a film of me. I can deal with that.
It's my own filth.
Yeah. I don't have to think too hard about that. So that's the plan. One day before I die, get in a ball pit in my house. Anyway, so that's interesting. I hope, whatever. Kids are going to do whatever they're going to do. But they probably, lava's the answer. Fill it with hot lava.
Lava, sure. You need heaters, though, to keep the lava hot, or else it just becomes more sidewalk.
Another drag on the tax system. Man, just can't win here.
That's right. Spikes, just fill it with jacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Oh, how is Georgia doing? You guys all right in Georgia? How's Georgia? Because if I understand the way things went, Georgia was like, we're going to open up early and nobody can stop us. And then the president and the I don't know, maybe it was just him, was like, yeah, that's where I stand. I think that's great. And he called him and said, I think you guys are awesome. Go ahead and do it. And then yesterday he got up in his press conference and says, Georgia's acting too fast. They need to slow down.
Right. Yeah.
So now I don't know what Georgia's doing, and I'm a little worried because we have friends there. We have a lot of friends in Georgia.
Yeah, we do.
Don't overdo it, Georgia.
Maybe I'll pop out there. I was looking at tickets, and I don't want to fly, so I might just take Amtrak or something. But the only tickets I could get were for like midnight. To get out there at midnight. So. Oh,
I see. The midnight train to Georgia.
Yeah, and I'd rather live in their world than live without them in mine. So.
See, I knew where Brian was going that whole time, but some of you listeners, you didn't know. You didn't know where that was going. You didn't know the reference. And we love doing that to you, so enjoy. All right. Well, be careful, Georgia. Don't be too hasty, okay? Just back off a little. Just, don't be freaking out. Don't be filming The Walking Dead, or you might, you know where I'm going.
Right now is the best time to film The Walking Dead because you can make Georgia. You don't have to do much to make Georgia look like the way The Walking Dead Georgia looks.
That's true, I guess. But just be careful. You know what I love? My favorite thing about all of this is the thing that we all assumed. You know what? Actually, this is one thing that movies have gotten right. So when you watch like Legend or what's the Will Smith movie?
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend. What's the Legends of the Fall for some reason?
Omega Man 2.0.
There it is. And the deer and like the antelope and all the animals have sort of taken over the city, And you start to see some of this. So there's like not abandoned, but closed down gas stations and restaurants and stuff. And they're just like sheep all over the place and like goats poking around. And like if we leave stuff, the animals will just come back. just come back down from the hill and take it all back. They don't care. There's a KFC there. They're attracted to the smell.
Lion chasing deer down Broadway.
Yep. I like that movie. Is that bad that I like that movie?
No, that's not bad that you like that movie. I still like that movie.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
The 3D stretchy face zombie people are a little maybe could use an update, but other than that,
if you did those today, it'd be a lot better. I think those would be better today.
What was Will Smith's buddy's name that lived in front of the video store, the mannequin that he always talked to, and then he freaked out when he saw him.
DJ Jazzy Jeff was the.
Is that what it is?
Was that it? Oh, that's not the name. Okay.
Mannequins just don't understand.
No, I don't remember the name, but he's always yelling at him.
Fred.
Was it Fred?
Fred, what are you doing here, Fred?
Yeah.
Fred, you don't belong here, Fred.
Yeah, he was mad at Fred.
Yeah. Quit making trouble in my neighborhood, Fred.
Wonder if he lived with his auntie before he moved out there. All right, we're going to do some news this morning.
Yeah.
And as we prepare for some good times with Wendy a little bit later, so stick around for that. Here's the news. BH something on Boston presents the news, brought to you by
Tavern by Destin J. Munden. It's a high fantasy swords and sorcery novel, perfect, great for fans of World of Warcraft, World for Warcraft, Elder Scrolls, Brandon Sanderson, Michael J. Sullivan, Nicholas Eames, and Scott Lynch. Zelnath of the Gnarled Root, an orc tavern owner, information broker, healer, and guildmaster of the Blackwind Company, has found a place far better than the forest from which he came in the magical metropolis city-state. It's like they're trying to get me with this.
Trying to get
metropolis and city-state of Ladad in the Magian Empire.
There you go.
Like llama, LL, or is it Liadad? And that's a lowercase l.
Yeah.
When a simple act of kindness draws the ire of a troubled assassin, his love-stricken archmage father, and an army of magically constructed golems. Stop laughing.
I'm sorry. It's just trying to. Sorry, watching you read that with a straight face is so funny to me.
Trying.
It's really
Zelma
funny.
scheme with vipers. I'm not going to be able to do it now. All right. Okay. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay. I'm not gonna look at you. I'm looking down here.
Must scheme with vipers of the high court, mingle with royalty at the castle, blackmail drug dealers in the slums, and fight assassins and mercenaries in the streets. He needs to lean on the support of his motley crew of a dark elf assassin, a dragon pirate, a high elf royal, and a talking dog. Oh, it's so close. So close.
They had to put talking dog in there.
The talking dog threw me. The talking dog artificer to keep him from his own inner demons and doubts. Available on ebook and paperback on Amazon, and also available on Kindle Unlimited. Audiobook, probably not read by me, coming in June.
All right, you officially destroyed my bad mood. Nice job.
I'm sorry. Yes, I'll whatever they paid for that ad read, I'll pay them back.
No, it's a freebie. They're a community person. They're nice.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
actually, go check it out. Tavern by Destin J. Munden. It sounds really good, and I don't want to not do it justice.
No, it's all great. Good. These are the these are the times where these are trying times, but there's a time to laugh, and we had one there, and I'm in a better mood now.
Right.
Better mood.
Oh my God.
Well done.
Talking dog artificer.
You were really good for the home stretch there until that dog.
I was, yeah.
Dog.
I had to cover. Time. I had to block. I had to block your my Zoom video of you, because if I saw you even snicker, I was done for.
I know. I couldn't help it. What are you gonna do? All right. There's some outrage in China. You know, China. You heard of China?
China.
Yeah.
Yes.
China. Hold on. I got a thing for China. Hello, China. Wait. Hold. Where? Oh. Here. Okay. Well, that's no fun to play if you don't have it handy. I have a thing that says something about China.
China.
There it is.
Hello, China.
Jeez Louise, it took forever to find. Anyway.
No matter how high you think he's going to go, he goes a little higher.
A little higher. Yeah, it's like Veronica's sausage. It goes slow.
Yeah. Right.
But this goes higher. Anyway, there's some upset people because in China, they were holding a kissing contest to celebrate reopening at a factory. That is pretty dumb, right? Pretty dumb.
It feels like that might be, that might be going too far too soon.
I think so.
Well, what's the factory? What kind of factory is it?
Well, it is a, so the factory itself is being criticized. Let's see if I can find, this is in Suzhou. I've been there. Let's see. So it's probably.
Wait a minute. Okay, well, when we read into this a little bit further.
Yeah.
I actually surprisingly don't see a problem with this.
Well, here's what they say. They're being criticized for organizing a bizarre kissing contest to celebrate its reopening. According to 7 News, a video of the contest where participants were invited to kiss while separated by plexiglass.
Yeah. Okay. That seems all right.
Has been viewed over 10 million times on the Chinese social media platforms. The kissing contest has sparked outrage online, with many criticizing the factory for playing fast and loose with social distancing guidelines in the time of the coronavirus. Now, I could see if there are 10, it says here 10 couples take part in the contest. Are they kissing the same glass on both sides 10 times over? Because that's a problem.
In other words, it's like a line of people and not sanitizing in between each kiss.
Right.
Yeah.
Or is somebody doing that? Is somebody over there wiping it down and, doing
I would assume somebody be wiping it down. And hopefully the plexiglass isn't like this big. It's just like hold this plexiglass up and because the whole rest of you is getting exposed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's weird. I mean, it's a weird way to celebrate.
It's very weird. Like, why would you do it? Some of them are already married, and like some of them are just not. And it's like there's no reason for it. There's no what's the contest? There was no winnings or anything.
Yeah, I'm looking at the plexiglass is like about a large window pane plexiglass.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're still getting close to the people on either side holding this thing, and
it's not like a wall. Big transparent wall, which is
no.
cool. That's a cool idea, but no such thing exists as far as I know. Let's see. It says here
allegedly some of the participants are not couples. Well, they're not kissing either, really.
No.
They're not making contact, so.
No, that would be like me kissing my screen and someone saying, I kissed Brian.
That'd be like saying, sure, I smoked pot in high school, but I didn't inhale.
Exactly. Who would have said that? No one ever said that.
No. Oh, what are we disparaging the other side for a change?
Oh, all
Scott?
the time.
What?
I hate Clinton. Clinton was the worst.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
sucked. I shouldn't use the word sucked around President Clinton. Anyway,
it was clearly blue.
Yeah.
Come on, I didn't mean BLEW. I meant blue, like a blue blue dress.
Yeah, like a blue dress. Get it?
Like a stained blue dress. That's what I meant by blue. Come on, people.
That's the one. That's the kind. Let's see here. Organizers said the event can help factory workers relax because there was a transparent glass between the kissers. According to the Global Times, the kissing competition was organized to celebrate the resumption of work at the factory, and China began easing restrictions imposed during the lockdown to contain the spread of the highly infectious coronavirus. I think you could have celebrated in some other ways than this dumb, weird way. This is weird and dumb.
Yeah.
Right? It's just dumb.
It's really, I think it's more than anything just a way to make something that's viral.
Right.
I mean, the people in the neighborhood here doing like teddy bears in the windows is kind of like when you're going out with your kids for a walk with your mask on. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a hide and seek or where's Waldo, I Spy kind of thing where it's like, oh, there's a teddy bear there and there's one there. And that's cute. And it's not done to be viral. This feels like it's done to be viral.
Viral, yeah. But don't be too viral because the viral will get you. The virus.
You're right. The viral is the whole problem.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, then we don't even really know. Like, China's weird with their information, so who knows?
Well, I mean, there's photos. It's clearly people kissing on either side of a plexiglass.
No. I don't mean that. I mean the rate of the virus and their death count.
Sure.
All that stuff is probably lies.
I read on some website that they made the whole thing up just to slow down the American economy.
I mean, there are people who think that. I
wonder if we'll talk to Wendy about that later now that I think about it.
Maybe. Who knows? Stimulus checks. Let's talk about those. They're being spent on dildos, tigers, guns, and stripper poles.
Or, as I call it, a Saturday night at Ibbott's.
That's right. Stimulus checks. These are very stimulating checks. Are funding a national pandemic of impulse buyers. Americans began receiving their first batch of coronavirus refunds this week, and many are taking to social media to brag about the assortment of purchases, both strange and savvy, that they've made with them. So here's some examples. A lot of people you'd think would use the emergency cash to pay for bills, necessities, food, and things you need, paying your bills, helping cover rent, that sort of thing. But others are putting it toward wild splurges. Among the more trivial items people have reportedly used the extra bucks for are an inflatable dinosaur costume. You've seen those before, right?
I have. I've wanted one of those. I want somebody to make an inflatable dinosaur costume equivalent, a MODOK inflatable dinosaur costume.
Oh.
Like, you could so do that, right? I mean, it's just like the big MODOK head that does this when it's walking around.
Yeah.
But your arms and legs are the real arms and legs of MODOK.
Oh, I would love that. Just a big giant MODOK on and you're looking through like his crotch. That's how you see out because he's so big.
You'd be looking through like his chest area because you'd still have to have your arms and legs.
Oh, right. You wouldn't just have those flopping around though, like just air arms, like just flopping. You know what I mean?
You could, but I mean, you still need to be able to pick stuff up.
That's true. Nobody wants a non-articulated MODOK. Anyway, it says here, okay, so the dinosaur costume is one of them. Although the buyer argues that $35 get-up was totally worth it. Quote, I've actually got good use for it. Plus, look at that price. I should have bought two, he said.
Yeah, I mean, you go for a walk. I mean, it's probably better than wearing a mask.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Chat room, you're right. The stormtrooper crotch is still right here. Look at that. I apologize.
Right,
it's just right there. I can't help it. Another one said, F it. I'm buying a stripper pole with my stimulus check. We have to invest in our future, tweets a future exotic dancer. Yeah. I mean,
aspiring stripper.
Yeah, aspiring stripper. A name unknown. Some are also jokingly planning on teaming up so they can use their economic impact payments to buy a baby tiger. He says, hear me out. Quote, who wants to combine their stimulus checks with me? We can buy a tiger, writes likely fan of Tiger King. See, because that's
I bought
the
a
thing.
tiger, and the tiger bought a man.
Yeah. You know what I'm tired of hearing about, actually?
What, Tiger King?
Tiger King, yeah.
I kind of am too. I think we've
overdone
we're on the other side of the curve now, the Tiger King curve.
Yeah, we flattened that. We flattened that curve hard and fast.
Kind of flatten that curve, you cool cats and kittens.
Yeah. Although I'll never get tired of that being used because it's so stupid and horrible.
Hey, how's it going, you cool cats and kittens?
Hey, cool cats and kittens, it's me, Carol, talking about stupid stuff again.
One of the featured performers, and I haven't memorized her name yet, on SNL, in that Saturday Night Live thing that they did, the distancing version episode of Saturday Night Live with Tom Hanks, and she did a killer Carol Baskin riding around on her bicycle in the age of coronavirus.
It's amazing. I didn't see that.
So good.
The only thing I've seen, only SNL thing I've seen is the one, I don't know her name, but she did that lady who learns how to sew masks at home. Did you see that? It was like it was called Sewing with whatever her name was, and it was almost real. It was so well done, but she kept cutting herself and sewing into her fingers and having to start over. It was really freaking funny. 80 Bryant.
That was an 80 Bryant one? Okay.
Yeah, it was very funny.
That actually sounds pretty funny, and usually I'm not a fan of the 80 Bryant skits. I can tell the ones that she writes for other people, and it's like, okay, there's an 80 Bryant one. Oh, I wonder if she's going to get to use that Southern accent again.
Probably. In this one, she just plays like your typical Karen type, and
really, okay, and cutting herself as she's sewing masks.
Yeah, it's just
all right.
It's
See, that would
very
be pretty
funny.
good.
It's very funny. My wife was like in tears laughing at her. It was good.
Let's see who. What's her name? Ego Nuda. Oh, another name that I haven't yet memorized. Did like a parody of the YouTube makeup shows. And she's like, all we have are these this collection of Crayola markers, so we're gonna do our best with these. And she like fills in ego nuodum, that's it.
Yeah.
She like does her eyebrows with a black Crayola marker and roses up her cheeks, and
that's amazing. That one was hilarious. The pro gamer guy was really good too. The streamer guy.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because he was legitimately like making He sounded like him. He's like, hey, don't forget to subscribe, all that crap. And then he goes to play. He doesn't know what he's doing at all.
Right. Oh, how is he just standing behind me shooting me?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like, wait, how do you wait? And he kept looking at his controller and then looking up and then looking down. He's like, can't
Something's
move.
not working. I think my computer's not working. We're going to switch over and play Mario. And he fails at Mario.
It was really funny.
We're going to do a speed run of Mario. And that's the first.
That guy made me want to watch a stream of him doing that thing on stream.
Mikey Day is one of the current standouts. I think Mikey Day and Beck Bennett are two of the current brilliant SNL performers right now. Yeah, there we go. DJ
awesome.
Stingle just put it up there.
Oh, is that the video?
The Mikey Day one.
That is worth watching, guys. Should watch it. This final person here, some jokingly plan to team up, like I mentioned, by the tiger. Oh, yeah. It's hard to argue a canopied bed is ever essential, but one mom bought a princess-themed bed for one of her kids. The same argument goes for a woman who used her check to buy a high-end sex toy.
Which end?
The high end.
Use it on the high end.
Yeah, use it on the high end. Although she concedes she bought the stimulator only after paying off a credit card. Well, that's good. That's good. Good.
Just refill the credit card with a ginormous dildo. Yep. Well done.
There you go. Nice job. I don't know what that means by high end, but I really don't want to know what that is. What a high end thing is.
It's studded with those Swarovski crystals.
That's a good way to look at it. Probably that's it. Gold plated. What are the men buying? Right. I don't know. They don't say in this article. It's all ladies. I guess that's not true.
I bought a Dakota Fanning bed pillow, giant bed pillow.
Yeah, the tiger was a dude. I looked that up. The guy that wants a tiger was a guy.
Of course it was.
Yeah. The rest of these are ladies. All right. Final story for today before we take a break.
Sure.
A British Columbia doctor has a fairly simple invention aims to curb the spread of the virus in hospitals. It may look like an empty closet waiting for clothes to be hung or brooms to be stored, but Dr. Kurt Schmercher and his invention...
Kurt Schmercher? Oh, man, that's an awesome name.
It's a great name.
Smecker. There's no R.
Oh,
Smecker,
shit.
but still, Kurt Smecker.
All right.
Oh, that guy's such a Kurt Smecker.
Dang it. I thought there was an R in there.
I think Kurt Smecker is still pretty good. Oh, especially when you see this guy.
With a name like Smecker, it must be good.
Have you seen a picture of Kurt
Yes,
Smecker?
And that's what's great about it. I wanted to mention this because, and I'll pull this up for the chat as well. The thing about Kurt Smecker is his beard is not coronavirus approved.
Neither of those eyebrows.
No, nothing about this is going to stop the spread of the virus with your mask on. And I'll show you now, chat, what that looks like. Here you go.
Dice Tomato channeling a little bit of Lex Luthor. Mr. Kurt Smecker!
Yep, that's right. Look at that. Look at those eyebrows. My gosh. That is a thing to see.
The name Dr. Smecker kind of could be a supervillain.
Yeah. It's very
I'll get you, Dr. Smecker.
Superman would have done it too if it wasn't for you and your boobs. Yeah, I can totally see that. Anyway, it says it's a very simple idea. It's a negative pressure vestibule designed by the anesthesiologist in the latest COVID-19 infection control. An operating room add-on that basically works like a vacuum cleaner, sucks up airborne viruses that pose a transmission risk to staff and patients. So it would be mainly used by frontline hospitals.
Yeah, right, ORs.
It says it's a fairly simple idea. It says Smecker, who first started pushing the idea over a month ago. It's now at use at 3 Fraser Health hospitals, Surrey Memorial, Royal Columbian, and Abbotsford Regional. This is all in the UK. Or in Canada, sorry. British Columbia. It works by changing how air normally flows in an operating room. Usually, it says operating rooms operate under what is called positive air pressure, where the open door would mean air is flowing out of the OR. That's desirable because it pushes germs away from the area of surgery. Problem is, this can cause airborne contaminants like the coronavirus to spread outside the operating room where it can infect others. So his invention, a negative pressure vestibule, attaches the outside of the set of the operating room doors, keeps the air flowing out of the OR, but sucks it up into a vacuum cleaner, catching any virus that may get into the air when, for example, a COVID-19 patient is having a breathing tube inserted or removed, that sort of thing. It's kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah,
I like hearing about stuff like this, positive, movement. A thing.
Totally. And as much as we eyebrow shame him and beard shame him, this is a pretty cool invention, and he should be applauded for his innovative mind.
I agree. I want to get
sits
close
behind those freaky eyebrows.
I want to get a little closer to those right now. Here we go.
You can hold on to them, steer them like a
Yeah. Look at those things. Those are nuts.
steer them like a whaler.
I could probably grow those. I trim mine
Yeah.
up here and there. I could probably let those happen. I don't know. What do you think? Should I go go that route? All right.
Oh yeah, Zoe brings bacon. Says definitely Vulcan. Those are Vulcan eyebrows.
Oh yeah. Or at the very least, Romulan.
Romulan, yeah,
Yeah, very Romulan. The Romulans go nuts with the forehead grab.
they do. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, my sister, Wendy Dunford, will be here. We're going to talk about an email we got, and we'll see how that goes. So that's coming up soon. Before that, though, a break with a song that Brian has prepared. Brian, what do you have?
I want you to close your eyes and imagine the vistas of Scotland. Aren't they pretty? Aren't they beautiful?
they're
The vistas
lovely.
of Scotland,
Yeah.
rolling green hills. And, well, I wanted to think about another Vistas of Scotland, a band called Vistas, and they're from Scotland. They have a brand new album.
No, I don't think I will kiss you. Although you need kissing badly. That's what's wrong with you. You should be kissed and often, and by someone who knows how.
This is the morning stream. Is it over yet?
I screwed that up. I wanted to hear Brian
You
do
were
this
so
again.
close.
I know. It was so close. I like.
How you feeling today?
It's a little bit of. It's just not great. I don't remember what the context was. It was something you did yesterday, and it was weird. And so
I was talking about something so-so or...
Is that what it was? I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, because that's what I use for so-so. Like little hinky, little weird.
I usually go like that, and Brian goes
Yeah.
whoops like that. I like it. All right, well, to each their own. Hey, we're back, everybody. Welcome back. That was a great song. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I love those. Sometimes you're just in the mood for a power chord, major key anthem for getting you ready for sunshine, blue skies, and finally getting outside.
Less virus, we hope.
Do you have is there a restaurant that you can think of that's like, as soon as I feel like it's safe to go, I can't wait to go back to blank?
Oh yeah,
restaurant.
Red Basil. I want to go back to Red Basil right now. We've used them a couple times for delivery since, but I want to go dine in and be there again. That's what I want.
For sure. Yeah, there's the Benny's Mexican restaurant here. Because Benny's is too far for us to drive to get takeout and bring home. It would be cold by the time we got it home.
Well,
That's the thing. It's like, that's the one part of this is like, yeah, sure, all these places have takeout and delivery, but you really got to pick places that are close by so that your food is still warm when you get it.
Yeah, and you don't, and that's the problem. The places that used to be no big deal by car, because you knew you were going to be there for an hour or 2 hours, whatever, no big deal. But when you want to bring it to you, it's hard.
Exactly.
I still want to support them though, so it's hard. It's hard either way. All right, we're going to give Wendy a call.
Yeah.
Get her in here.
Yeah.
See what's going on. I'm going to try my joke on her that I did yesterday because she lives there. Yeah, the Minnesota joke. Don't tell her.
Yeah. Okay, I won't say a word.
I bet she's never heard it.
Because when she hears this,
it's all bets are off after that. It's
the knees will be slapped.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. We're getting the rings of ringage, or the squares of ringage now.
The square of ringage now. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, the rectangle of ringage. She shows that she's online, so that's good.
It's lies. It's all part of the accordion of lies.
It feels like it could be a lie.
Yeah.
We'll keep trying here. We'll see what happens. I'm going to pause this. Okay. Just so the audio is not just 9 miles of that. Oh, no, still ringing. Okay.
Nighthawks is our next film sack movie. Nighthawks.
Sylvester Stallone, and Rutger Hauer.
The rest.
Never heard of it before we picked it.
No.
So, going to be new for a lot of us, at least you and I. I bet. In fact, I think maybe all of us haven't seen it.
I think it's new for all four of us. Yeah.
Which is unusual for us because Dunaway's usually got DVDs or something, you know.
Mm-hmm. He's got the Blu-ray special edition with director commentary.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, I'm gonna text her to see.
Oh hi.
See if everything's okay. Hi there. You still good to go? All right, we'll do that. Let's see if she's around. She should be. Talked to her yesterday. All was well. So it should happen. Is there a movie that shows up on streaming that you haven't been able to film sack yet? Oh yeah, we have a whole list.
God, so many. Yeah, the film sad list.
Yeah, we call it
well,
film
that
sad.
shows up on streaming. So,
that
one of these days.
has been on streaming that we've never seen.
Yeah, I mean, Gremlins 2 is one that I can't wait for us to sack because it feels like one that you know, it's a parody of the first movie, and that there's not too many films where the first movie takes it serious and the second one says, yeah, we're going to just make fun of the first one.
Yeah, it's
one of these days we're going to watch Crossroads, Scott, I promise you.
And remind me, that's Britney Spears. Okay.
No, we're not. We won't. I'm sorry. We won't do it.
Maybe we will. I don't know. I can't remember why I was so opposed to that, but I think it was right for me. Oh, hi. Hello.
I think because people online were saying, don't watch that. It's garbage.
Yeah, I think that may have been it. Plus, I felt weird about it. Hey, it's my sister, Wendy. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, what did you feel weird about?
Oh, we had a movie we were supposed to watch for Film Sack years ago that has Britney Spears in it, and we never did it. And people were either mad at us for doing it or glad we didn't.
Or a couple of people were mad that we didn't do it.
Yeah, there were a couple there. But anyway.
Not many, though.
Not many. Hey, I got a really bad joke for you that I want to tell you because of something, and you'll understand it when I do it. But first I have to play this.
Something wrong, Batman? Has anybody seen Wendy?
No, I want divorce.
All right, so there's your theme. Now, here's your joke. I'm going to tell you, and you have to answer this question. What state in America has the smallest soft drinks?
Minnesota.
Minnesota, get it? You've probably heard that one before because you live there, right? That's the thing you hear.
Yeah. Well, I figured, why would you tell me that joke if it wasn't the place I live?
I know that was kind of obvious, even if you hadn't heard the joke.
Deductive reasoning.
Yeah, good job. You're good at that. Turns out. All right, hey everybody. Wendy's my sister. She's also a trained practicing therapist. Helps people all the time with real problems. Comes on here on Thursdays and helps us with our fake ones. No, we have real ones too. We have real problems.
Mm-hmm. We have very many real problems.
We do. A lot of people, especially right now, just sort of dealing with special brands of anxieties and that sort of thing. Given where we're at and what we're doing, we got all kinds of new anxieties this week, which is people are getting a little stir crazy, and certain states are opening up stuff maybe a little too soon. Some are moving a little too slow, like it's a lot of chaos. You don't know who to believe, blah, blah, blah. So we're glad to have this segment on Thursdays and talks about some of that stuff. But today we're not going to be specific about any of that. We're going to read an email from Jennifer. I think it's okay to say her name. She said it was all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi, sourdough, baguette, and wheat. Wendy, anything you wanted to say before I did this, by the way? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No.
Okay.
No, it's great. Keep going.
My husband and I are in our early 30s, live in a rural community of about 1,600 people, with the local county, county being about 9,000. Sorry, Kim just showed up with some lovely hot beverage. Thank you, honey. You're the best. It's chicory tea.
Yum.
All right, where was I? Here we are. So she lives in a town of 9,000. Things can seem fairly under control here to an outsider. We are essential business owners. We're a bakery, and we're doing our best to stay healthy so we can keep providing for our small town. A friend of ours is regularly expressing his opinions that COVID-19 is made up. He continues to offer hugs as if by habit, and I'm having to change my habits by not accepting these. But I don't want to offend them by saying how uncomfortable it makes me feel. I don't want to lose a friend over conflicting opinions, but I'm also not comfortable with their nonchalance. I've also been frustrated by the lack of concern for the rest of humanity, something they are usually very conscious of. My friend is in his early 40s and is usually a very social person and spends a lot of time outdoors with his dog, who is known very well around his community. So he is certainly at risk as well. My husband and I wish he would at least consider other people's feelings when navigating social interactions. How do I express my concerns without losing a friend in our small community? Should I even be expressing my concerns? There are so many new social norms coming from this. and it can be hard to navigate them all. Thanks for everything you guys do. You keep us sane in the early baking hours. We really appreciate the Frog Pants team. Lounging in my hammock and with There Will Be Dungeons is my favorite way to spend a Sunday afternoon. That's awesome to hear. Can I get an I don't watch the news, your friend Jennifer? Yes. I'm going to play that kid right now for you. Hold on.
I don't watch the news.
There you go. Just for you. So, all right. A common feeling, right? I feel this way about a lot of... I have a brother-in-law, not on our side.
Yeah, because we would have banished him by now.
Oh, yeah. Who is very much down this road of it's all fake or it's made up or it's all a plan from the Democrats and or China did it or whatever. Like it's all that,
by the Chinese.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's all those sorts of things. Everything. He likes to basically carry all of those all around on him at all times, just in case one doesn't work. He's got another one to back it up.
He's a prepper.
Yeah, kind of. Well, not in the good way where you actually prepare for things. Anyway, so this seems like a pretty common thing right now to be feeling, and there are people around people who are being weird, and we've seen some very public versions of this lately, like that Karen lady. I keep calling her Karen, but the Karen lady in Colorado that's now famous for hanging out of her SUV while that health worker's standing in front of her, and many more like that. So let's deconstruct this. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it?
By the way, that Karen reminds me of our cousins that lived in Colorado. That's kind of a look I have in Colorado.
Yeah.
From like the 80s and 90s. And Brian, I just need to confirm, is that how women still look in Colorado?
Totally, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Of a certain age.
I haven't been there in a while, so I don't know.
No change.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, let's start with this. I'm going to tell a story. First of all, thank you for being bakers. That's so cool. Also, like, the Dunford Donut dynasty, there's a reason there are no more Dunford bakeries. It's an incredibly challenging life.
Yeah, it's hard.
Get up that early. And so none of my husband's dad or his brothers or sisters kept the bakery going because they were like, yeah, no, it's hard.
Nobody wanted to do it. Yeah. Well, it's just too bad because, man, I wish they would have, only because of selfish reasons, because I would love to partake in it and have
that'd be great if we could just get donuts. But thank you for being donuts. Also, okay, so I want to just share a quick story of my own, and I will I'll get to them.
All right.
So I'm at the grocery store the other day, which, by the way, I hated doing before, and now I hate more than anything I think that it was possible to hate. I really, really despise it. And there's a couple reasons. One is it's like I don't want to feel everybody's feelings. And I can't help it. Like you walk in and it's like either someone's angry, annoyed, desperate, sad, scared. I mean, it's just like it's like an empath's nightmare. And I don't even consider myself an empath. I don't know how anyone who is actually one can handle this.
Right.
It's rough. Anyway, so I hate it. I walk in, good 70% of us have face masks on. And these two older people walk in and they do not have face masks on. They're probably in their 70s.
Yeah.
And I am like,
were they cocky about it? Were they strutting in, going, "Yeah, look at us"? Okay.
And I had this.
You guys are all sheep.
Well, here's the thing. The thinking I had was it went from, "Oh no, are they aware? Have they been paying attention?" Like there was first that, like maybe they don't know, and then second of all, it was like maybe no one's helped them get masked. Maybe they're here and it's scary for them. Like I can't tell, and then I think, oh no, maybe they think the whole thing's a hoax and that's who they are. And part of me is just like, I need to know the story. Yeah. And I just had to run down a different aisle. I couldn't stand it. It was driving me crazy.
Just because you don't know, right? There's like no way to.
I don't know. And what am I going to say? Excuse me. What I would like to do is to have a big fight here in Aldi's while someone films it.
Aldi's, that's the most Midwestern ass sounding place I've ever heard of. Aldi's. That's great.
Come on, Aldi's is German, dude. It's the best grocery store America has. If they could just get Lidl, which is the better version of Aldi. Aldi's like the crappy version of the best version, which is Lidl.
Still anyway. better than most, right? That's a raised
it's so
bar.
Fun. They have all sorts of good European stuff. Anyway, I love it. But okay, so my point is, without knowing their story, I don't know how to feel about that situation.
Yeah.
And I would assume lots of people don't maybe go through the mental gymnastics that I did. They maybe jump to the, oh, you must be a Trump supporting, loving, gun toting, whatever. And, or whatever their story is going to be, right? Because that's kind of the point. We all have our own origin of the thinking we have or how we may perceive somebody else. And I went through a quick succession of there are 4 explanations for why these old people do not have masks on when they are surrounded by other people with masks on. Like they have to notice something's going on, blah, blah, blah.
Why do you think people are wearing these? Huh?
Do you think
That's
it's
weird.
Do you think it's possible that this was their first exposure to it? Like, is it? I mean, everything's possible, I suppose. But like, you know, they've been staying away from all of it and staying home and watching nothing but old Barnaby Jones reruns.
I don't know how you get by and not know anything about what's going on. I mean, even if you don't.
Someone's mentioned it to you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
They got to be wondering like why some of the restaurants have signs on the windows that say "Don't come in, please."
Yeah. Or this is what my thinking as I thought about where their eyes were. They weren't looking at anybody. There's a bit of like, shoot, I'm probably not supposed to do this.
Oh, really?
Like,
So like,
there was a bit of like, well, and that's maybe how I wanted to see it. So I could just walk away and do my grocery shopping. I don't know. And so my point in telling you that is not that I'm some, the epitome of someone who is thoughtful, but I am at least spending a lot of time asking people their stories in order to get a sense of what's going on for someone. And that was my brain's what it did, but I didn't get any answers because I didn't want to be weird or have someone film old people yelling at me because I could sense that might.
Sure.
Because that's not my dream.
That's
that
not
is
the
not what I want to be
attention
known
you need.
for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to be Karen from Minnesota in a grocery store.
Right.
Therapy Thursday blogger gets yelled at in Aldi's by elderly couple.
Yeah.
Really old people. Anyway, so the point is this. Here is this lovely baker couple, and they have a friend who has expressed what he thinks is going on and that it's all made up and it's conspiracy and whatever, right? Tensions are high naturally, right? Because we're all on edge, or we're all at least on our toes, or we're at least aware because the world's a different place. Whatever that means to each individual person, you can't deny that there's electricity in the air that has not been there before. So he's telling you his story. You have your own feelings. You also are probably pretty worn out as somebody who is continuing to work like crazy, but still feel all of the energy. You're not having the down board times like maybe other people. So that is a recipe for let's explode or let's have a fight, and it sounds like obviously you're aware of, you're in a small town. So what that actually looks like and how that plays out has big ramifications. I could have gotten a fist fight with these old people and that might have been the end of it if no one had filmed us or whatever. But this is like friends, neighbors, you're going to cross paths constantly. So you're in a different place and might even add more pressure. Mm-hmm. But here's where the story matters, right? So you think you know his story. And this is hard because in practicality, to do what I'm about to say is maybe not a great idea. You maybe should not listen to this, but I'm just going to say it anyway.
Okay.
What is the story for anybody and how they react? We've had a couple shows on conspiracy theories or, various differences in how people view certain things or certain information. It's because the person has unconscious motives. The person has motivated reasoning, right? They want to believe a thing. And so they're going to find the evidence to make sure that that's the thing they can continue to believe or see. So everybody has all of these biases. And here is this very strange moment in time where it would be really great if we all had the same information and we all could trust that information and then we behaved accordingly and that it worked and that we don't have little side weird stories about the opposite happening or one person saying this and et cetera, right?
Have we ever had that though? We've never had that.
That's not real life.
Yeah.
And we kind of had it in the past when there was like one news station, but I still think there's always been this thing that the baker is experiencing, Jennifer's experiencing in her community, which is everyone's got a friend or an acquaintance that just doesn't see the world the same way you do.
Right.
And we should all have that. That's that's important.
It exposes us to a different perspective, and
Yeah,
it may not
and
be
it
one we
softens
agree
yours.
with, or right.
Right. Everyone should be softened by this. Here's the problem. It's not just within a community. There's lots of other people online who can yell at them and make them dig their heels deeper, right? So that's part of, I think, what happens is we don't get softened and like, oh, I see it this way, you see it this way. Oh, okay, let's come together. Really, every state should be purple, right? Because we should have differing views, but we just don't. That's not how it works, and we tend to get more and more polarized.
Right.
So here's my question for Jennifer, as far as what is really going on with the friend, is to ask some questions, and maybe you can't do this, so this is more theoretical, about what is the real story, right?
Yeah.
And the answer, and I don't want to make this sound like it's true for everything, but I think it is. The answer is always, if you go towards the pain, right? Like, where is somebody's pain point? And when someone's life is, pretty stable and they're pretty happy and they kind of like what they do and they have a nice family or a dog, or they are, they get to do the things they like to do and they're like, I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
And you're not going to find, they're not going to have a source for maybe some of this.
Yeah.
Whereas when somebody has a source, everybody has a source, right? And everyone has a pain point somewhere. We can find it. You just push hard enough, you'll find it. But when someone's got a lot of pain, and I know someone's listening going, well, just because they don't agree with you doesn't mean they're in pain. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when the whole world has stopped and everyone's a little bit scared or really scared, and people are dying and scary, hard things are happening. And your response is, this is all fake. There's some need you have. There's something going on there. And so instead of like getting in a fight or arguing points, and I think that's what's so easy to do, especially online, but even to do it, Thanksgiving dinner with your uncle, is you just kind of talk about the thing you're arguing about, and it's hard to go underneath that. Whereas what is the pain point? And so here is a trick that could really backfire. So again, I have given a lot of caveats to not actually do any of these things. Okay. But the trick might be to ask how he's really doing, and maybe ask questions that steer towards what's going on for him. Recently, I had someone tell me about a friend of theirs who is in the same camp as this guy, and just publishing online anything he, forwarding any article he can find that coincides with how he believes things are. And this friend of his is pretty good at just like, hey buddy, really? Is that what's going on? And trying to engage with him, and when it really comes down to it, so we started to talk about this guy and what's going on in his life, and wow, some really hard things have happened. And maybe you didn't have a great experience with someone being trustworthy or telling the truth, or your community providing support for you when you needed it, or your family, or so your hackles are up for a good reason. And this just feels like a giant version of that for you. And so when we say people are getting triggered, they're getting triggered in all sorts of different ways. But I think there is this very core part of being left behind, and or I don't know, you're just not, you haven't gotten what you've needed in the past, or people haven't been trustworthy. The world is a scary, harsher place.
Yeah. And
so you need to find ways to feel control. Because that's in the end what this is. There is a feeling of control. If I'm the one who knows that this is all fake, and I have a few people that back me up on that, and look at this guy saying the exact same thing I already think. Okay, yeah, I have some control here, when really every single one of us are struggling with feelings of lack of control right now. Literally all at the same time, for the first time in maybe history. I don't know.
Well,
maybe
in modern recollection, certainly within a complete generation of 100 years or so, we haven't really had. I mean, there've been other, World War II, you could argue, had a lot of that. You could argue that 9/11 had a lot of that nationally. You could argue other cases like this,
right?
But on a global scale like this, pretty rare.
in those cases, there was something to do.
Yeah.
And this feels like maybe the first time where the thing to do is to sit on your couch. And that is just bizarre. And humans were built to coalesce around a thing and work to do something. And it's how we defeat the trauma of an event.
Yeah.
Like you can give blood, you can go build something, you can clean up the mess the tornado left, you can, donate supplies to another country. You could do all sorts of things, but as it's just sort of ticked through every continent, everyone's sort of crippled in a different way. And
it's funny because you'll shift around your ideology or your maybe belief systems or whatever to maintain that control or that sense of control, that you have a piece of control. For example, I'm not going to use names here, but I have a friend. Let's call him a friend who some years ago during the Bush administration, if you guys remember, there was that lady on life support. I can't remember her name, but it was a big deal in the news. She was, I don't remember, it was a car accident. Someone in the chat's going to remember her name, and when they Shivo,
Colorado.
Shivo, yes, it was in Colorado. I think Tara Shivo was her name, wasn't it? Tara or
Melissa Shivo?
Terry Shivo, that's it.
Terry Shivo, yes, right.
Anyway, she was on life support, and her own instructions, her own will was, I want to not be on there. Please take me off of that if that's all that's keeping me alive. And there was a giant push by some to not do that. Life is too sacred. You can't just take her off of it, leave her on there. And then the other part of people like, this should be a choice of the patient and her family. She should be able to do it. It was a huge controversy. And at the time, this friend was 100% on the side of don't take her off of it. It's not her choice. It's God's choice when we die. This whole thing, right? Mm-hmm. He is the same guy that now is saying 2.5 to 3% of the population dying is not more important than the economy staying open. So we should just go ahead and take it on the chin. So he's literally saying it's like 50
damage.
He's saying tens of millions of people dying is fine in this scenario, but this one lady whose wish was to be taken off life support and was not going to survive without it, that was somehow a huge moral quandary, and this isn't.
Right.
And that, for me, is really hard to deal with because
that's so explanatory. Like, it's so explainable.
It seems like it is. It seems like it is, but I think what happens, what's that thing where there's a...
No. It's explainable why he can do both.
Oh, okay. That's what I wanted to get to because I've heard of this thing where you say, I'm glad you said that because that's exactly where I want to go with this. There's that thing where, what's the old saying? If someone you know dies, as the travesty. If a million people die, it's a statistic, or however the phrase goes.
Yeah. Or it's a recession if your neighbor.
It's a single death is a tragedy. A million deaths is a statistic.
Something like that. Yeah. So
it's a recession if your neighbor loses their job. It's the Great Depression if you lose yours.
Right. Same
it's
idea.
Again, that relatively. So yes, there's that, but I also think there's this, right? It's the economic impact, the fear it creates, the instability, that is pretty primal. Mm-hmm. So you can be moral high horse all you want when it's not even remotely connected to you. You're just having an opinion far away. But when it means like you're going to lose your job or, whatever gets impacted, then you're going to see it differently. I don't know if you saw this tweet because I just think it's amazing and it should be what people are talking about is instead of the 3 million people that would die randomly, what we do is we pick the billionaires. So we only need about 700 of them or something and we kill them and then we take all the money and now the economy is like just fine. Everyone's going to do fine and way less people are dead.
Yeah.
And what I love about that idea is it really is telling how people respond to it. It's like, oh wait, hold on. We would target
right.
Now it feels like murder, right? But if it's poor people or African American people because they're dying in higher numbers, or anyone who's got high blood pressure, like it's fine as long as it's random. And I think there's a bit of that. We've always had the trolley problem, right? Who do you the trolley's coming, and if you switch the track, it's going to kill one person instead of the 5. And people, have to, if you make that decision, what are you going to choose? I mean, we aren't very good at these moral quandaries, very, very much, right? So to me, that guy's saying this thing because he's talking about like he doesn't think he's one of the 3.2 million people.
Right.
That's pretty important, right?
Right.
When the question you're answering, it's not actually about you. Because I'll tell you what, this person who I was referring to before, is saying, "Oh, let everyone die. It's fine." This is the same. He said the same thing, right? That's obviously going around. Sadly, his father just passed away from COVID-19.
Yeah.
So you've got the reality of what a virus does versus any other calamity is that it's anybody at any minute. And that's the great equalizer about it. That's really, really tricky. So to me, I always think, okay, go back to the core. So the baker's friend, what's he afraid of?
Right.
Is he afraid like everybody else is? He just is using a different tactic to handle it. Does he because to me, there's always like a bit of especially dudes. I don't know. Maybe there's lots of women that do this too, but there's a bit of just like, oh, you wusses. Right? Like that attitude of just like,
it's pretty dude heavy.
This is how I handle my fear.
I'll
my
admit
fear
it.
is like,
I have no problem having that levied at men. We do tend to be more that way than women. We just are. We're just kind of
right. And so instead of like, I'm going to actually be a little bit afraid and hug my family closer or deal with my deep internal, self-esteem issues I've never dealt with while I'm isolating, I'm not going to deal with any of this stuff. I need to put it outside of me and fight something or, go down a rabbit hole of this must all be a trick and everything's against, it's a bit of the warrior complex with nothing to be a warrior against.
Right. It's like this other photo circulating, which I put up on Facebook and was irritated about. But this guy all dressed up in biker gear who's just staring down this nurse and probably saying things that we can't see because it's just a photo. But my perspective on that is, so here's this lady who's scared, but her decision is to frontline this thing and work hard and be there, right? That's how her control gets maintained. That guy's got the same need, but he gets his filled by acting tough and belittling somebody and pretending like he's too good for all this and this is just a big conspiracy. But aren't they kind of both burning the same candle? They're just doing it from two totally different ends, and one of them is an end I can admire and say
relate to, get behind.
Get behind, exactly. I can say, that's the side I would like to be on of this, and the other side isn't. But isn't he just still trying to feed the same beast at the end of the day? Sort of?
I mean, yeah, in that you're afraid. So fear and anger are really close, especially if you have very little emotional intelligence or practice in handling your fears. I mean, we all have a fear. Number one fear every one of us has, no matter what, is our own demise.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And as we age, it's like a slow version of facing that fear. We all have other fears that life is meaningless and that we don't actually matter in the big scheme of things, or it doesn't, what I have to say or think isn't have meaning. Mm-hmm. That's another fear. So when you say the same beast, yep, literally 100% of us all have the same beast. So yes, I think there's that. But I also think whatever he's doing, like what is going on there might just be a bit of like, that's how he's handling his fear or pain. And the pain can't simply be at this nurse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is how all victim situations work. You don't, unless there's a targeted victim for something, it's more like the person is faceless, but they're the idea, right? So
it's like a symbol. They're a symbol of the thing.
Yeah, a symbol. Yeah, right. So here's a nurse going to do her job. I don't know who that nurse is, but she also might just be going to make sure some kids don't have ruptured ears because they have an ear infection and it's hard to get health care. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
And does he, I mean, that's the strange part about, the dysfunction of fear and anger and your own lack of sort of care for other human beings is, that's sad. And this has always been true of any kind of event. it brings out the worst in
Right.
some and it brings out the best in others.
Right.
And I think that is probably 100% happened in any kind of setting. I mean, I've been thinking about Viktor Frankl. If I don't know if you guys have read his book.
I have. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's so good.
And he really broke through. He's a psychologist, and he really broke through, a bunch of the thinking that was sort of still Freud's thinking that were just driven by our impulses, right?
Yeah.
Which would explain the dude staring down a nurse, and it would explain the nurse, her impulses to care and make sure someone's okay, and his impulses to be a jerk. I don't know what that is. Impulses is to threaten or to be, I don't know. I mean, clearly, anyway. Let me just say this. My boys, whenever a truck drives by, like a big old truck, they're always like, yeah, he's compensating for something, because they've heard me say that their whole lives. And I'm like, oh, they're going to get their butts kicked one day. Anyway.
Right, exactly. But my mom said that.
Yeah.
My mom told me that was true.
Yeah.
Fine, you can have a big truck and you're not compensating, but literally you better have a farm. Like, you can't just be an accountant. I can't handle it. Anyway. So what is my point? My point is this, that there's sort of this, what was I talking about? Someone help me.
Oh, you were saying you don't know what his thing is. You know what her motivation is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good.
I don't remember now. You
I
haven't.
have brain damage, you guys. It's getting worse.
No.
Clearly.
What's your pain? What's your pain point?
My pain point is I need a nap.
Yeah, I could use one of those.
I need to be not tired. Anyway, I mean, kind of just generally though, like we'll go back to the emailer. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Because they have their own fears and their own pain point, right? And here's what happens is when someone comes in and goes, hey, everything you're doing right now to try to help everybody and the world and like to be a good global citizen and, protect your community, children, the vulnerable, the elderly is garbage.
Yeah.
Like that's pushing on your pain point, right? Like, don't we wish it wasn't true? Don't you think we would all love for this to be just a big joke and we could stop and move on now?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, right?
Of course. Yeah.
I mean, I have a really good friend's brother dying in an ER. He's been there for 20 days. He shouldn't, I don't know if he'll live. I mean, he got a plasma transplant, so we're really hoping. But like, it's real, and it will be real, more and more real for more and more people as time goes on. We've done a really good job of slowing this thing down.
Yeah.
Could we have done better? Yes, probably.
Sure.
But I mean, you're discounting everything this baker and their family do and how they're trying to be careful, and you're just going, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not the person asking the question. That's what's always so hard, right?
Right.
It's the person who's going, I'm getting pushed on my pain point and I don't want to harm this relationship. It's like they're doing all the work of taking care of stuff.
Right.
And maybe the other person is just going around flinging their fear and anger, unconsciously. And that's ultimately why everyone needs therapy. Just saying, because you just put together, you figure out your stuff. And when sometimes you don't, even if you think it's bunk, to have the ability to go, well, this is really scaring other people and I need to be respectful of that. Okay. I'm sure there are people doing that.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we only get to see the ones that aren't,
Well, and that's the other thing I always try to, even when I talk or post about this or talk about it on the show, this guy doing this thing, or even if it's a group of people doing this thing, pull the camera out and realize it's always a minority who are being terrible to other people. And it's just so easy to blanket it across the thing. And for all I know, that guy's got some serious issues and we don't know about him any more than he knows what that nurse even does. He doesn't really even know what her job is, but we don't know what his is either. And I try to be open to that. I've got another friend whose name I won't mention, who on the outside talks a lot of talk like this, but when you get with him privately, totally different. It's like a weird defense mechanism he has in public where he feels like he has to be tough guy,
You can use my name, Scott. It's totally
I guess I could just say Brian's name. I mean, he's here. He's sitting right here. So, but no, like this person is just, if you didn't know him very well, you'd think, man, he's an ass like all these other guys. But when you really get to know him and you see him for who he is, he's not like that at all. And I don't know why the artifice has to be there. Like, it's still kind of a frustrating personality trait, but I know where his heart is. And so a lot of times you don't know that information, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I'm not trying to excuse the people and their bad behavior. I'm just saying it's just always more complicated than the cartoon that we're seeing on the website that we're viewing it on. Like, it's just too simplified. It's too iconic. It's nurse standing there stoically. It's guy in a biker costume, cosplay, whatever, staring her down. And that's all we have, right? And it's so easy to look at that and then make all the assumptions on no matter which way you look at it. Like, I know people would see that photo and go, my gosh, that guy, the way I look at it is that guy, what a douchebag. He thinks he's so tough, but really, what a weenie. Just get out of there. And then there are other people, I guarantee, who look at that and go, what does she think she's doing? That guy'd take her in a minute. What does she, she's just a little tiny lady.
Well, we don't know. And we don't even know, if there were video, we might hear him say, you doing all right? Can I bring you a bottle of water?
Right. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't actually know. And that's
context.
And then that context is so important. Or at the very least, it's important for us to, if we don't have the context, to stop making our assumptions that we make, because we love a story, right? We love a narrative. Humans want to connect the dots.
Remember when we loved the kissing in Times Square after
that old black and white.
Yeah. We used to love those too. And I mean, I'm sure there's a story behind that doesn't.
You have to have plexiglass now to do that one.
Almost all those kinds of stories have. They're all wrong. Like in fact, I think that one in particular has a story behind it that I read somewhere. They're strangers. They're not long lost, going to get married people. She was caught off guard and was uncomfortable with it. Like, there's a bunch of stuff about that story. I wish I had it in front of me.
#me too.
Right.
Exactly.
When they didn't have their hashtags, they couldn't do much about it. But there was another one. What's the one? Oh, where they're holding the flag up in Iwo Jima.
It's the wrong place. It didn't actually happen. They had to pose. It was just all
right. So you get these things that are truly remarkably iconic, right? Like, whoa, it can change your whole life to see that. And especially in the face of a horrible, bloody, awful, long-running war. Like, but then you hear, well, wait, it's actually a little different than what you saw. It's really frustrating.
So the other day, a friend said, "Hey, have you started watching the Michael Jordan?"
No, I can't wait though. I'm so excited.
And I go, I can't until I hear that you're not going to ruin something in my life. Like, I don't want you to ruin Michael Jordan for me.
Yeah.
Because that's just the modern ethic, right? Your ethos is like, well, so you think you understand it? Well, really, and it is fascinating. And as humans, like it's evolving a lot of things for us, but I don't know if emotionally we are quite caught up to the ability to shatter some of this illusion.
Yeah.
And then yet at the same time, like, if you look for it and find it, you will see the most amazing things that people are doing. The most, talk about the good that has come out of certain people in contrast to the worst that comes out in others. I mean, it is astounding.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to just, you find it. You just go look for it and you will find it. And the stories of people doing amazing, amazing things. And the rest of us are complaining because, or whatever. But in the end, this is a tricky time. And I think if I had to summarize, like, for them is sort of, garner all the empathy and compassion you can have for someone who is anger is what they're showing on the outside, maybe vitriol or bitterness, especially when they're a real person in your real life, right?
Right.
It's hard to do that on the internet because we don't have eyeballs and our brain receptors are not doing the right empathic responses. But a friend, somebody someone who's in your life, you can ask him to respect you. And that's just a healthy boundary in any relationship. If you're feeling like they are just taking their garbage out on you,
right,
you can just say, okay, can you just chill?
Yeah.
Like, I need a minute for you to not do that with me. Because this is the life that I'm having to live. And you can say I'm a sheep and I'm all of these things, but I'm still going to do that. So to be a friend, can you just give me some space to do that?
Yeah.
And likely they will. I can guarantee that dude's feeling lonely. Everyone's feeling lonely in some form or overly stressed. I mean, I think it's this kind of magical thing that has also happened, which is when somebody asks how you are now, we are no longer Americans acting like Americans. We go, well, I don't know.
We don't just respond, fine.
Yeah.
We actually have to answer this question.
Yeah, right. Right.
It's amazing. It's a tradition I hope we can maintain forever because I really find it sort of frustrating. we
Oh,
we have
really?
this.
Yeah. Sometimes I just want somebody to answer fine so we can
move on.
I know it'll go back. Don't worry, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're not probably headed to a whole new era of that particular piece of communication, but yeah, I'm with you. It's like when someone says "How are you," you can't help but think of the answer in the context. How else are you going to think about it? You don't just go, "Doing great, kicking A, taking names. How you doing?" Like,
right.
You can't do that anymore.
No.
So
no, you cannot.
But I'm with Brian that I don't want big long conversations about it forever. Like at some point, what I hope happens is some lessons are learned and that I don't know. I don't even know what those lessons are. It's complicated and it's huge and I'm just going to learn my own. Honestly, that's all I can really focus on. So what am I going to do different? How am I going to be different to people? And am I going to think differently about, issues like healthcare and what will that motivate me to do? And both personally and, how I vote and what I believe and that, those sorts of things. All I can do is that. And then hopefully hope others around me, by probably just pure example, they'll just see what I do and they can decide for themselves what they want to do. But I'm never going to stand in front of anybody in my biker clothes and yell at them. I'm just not going to do it.
By the way, here's what I think of when I think of bikers. And obviously I've got the wrong stereotype for
that scene in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
No,
that's
oh
it.
Gosh, no.
No,
it's the bikers that go to court with little kids who've been abused.
Yeah.
And they walk in with them and they flank them on both sides and they use that tough exterior for good.
Yeah,
and
that's great.
We used to have the Guardian Angels out here, and they were largely made up of folks of the motorcycle, not gangs, but the tougher guys. They wear the red berets to let everybody know that they were here to help them if they needed it. But that's a good memory or a good connection to make.
I'm keeping that one. I'm not even going to look at that dumb picture. And also, and maybe just as a general thing. All right, so you're the bakers and you're doing the bread and you're the UPS driver, you're the Amazon warehouse worker, you're like, there's meaning to all of our lives. And for this sort of time, there's extra meaning for particular people's lives.
Right.
That, the grocery worker who makes no money and is now totally overworked. I mean, people are always not kind, of course, but I also hear constantly people saying, "How are you?" Or people being good to you. Can we do anything for you? Like, did anyone even notice they really existed before? It's kind of shocking and amazing. And I think that's the thing you can grab onto is the humanity of it. I think dehumanizing is the way we hurt other people, right? And so you dehumanize a nurse because she's wearing scrubs. I mean, I know there are cases where people are mistreating someone wearing scrubs because they think they're going to infect them. It's like, dude, they're on their way to work. Like, people are dumb. Anyway, but that idea of like dehumanizing versus doing your best to humanize is the challenge of being alive in a society that's either not at all out war, because that's the history of the planet, is people are at war.
Right.
When we're not at war, what do we do with some of our uglier impulses and our otherizing and some of our other things that we do? Well, we can get ugly or we can be our best self. So to challenge the bakers to just really absorb the role you're playing right now, like find some pride in there. It's okay. I think one common thing happening is there's meta-analysis constantly going on, which is I feel glad to be safe with my family, but then I feel guilty that I'm not doing this or that. So everyone's having two emotions at once.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted, but I'm supposed to be grateful because I have a job, or I'm sick, but someone else has it way worse or whatever. So we can never just have the one emotion.
Right.
And knowing lots of people with dual emotional tracks going on at once, which is a common therapeutic reason people come in, you will burn out. You cannot continue having both tracks all the time. And it sounds like the bakers, what this friend represents is that, how do I also help somebody else? I'm doing two things at once. One, I'm making bread for everybody, right? Number two, I'm trying to also protect my community from this problem that exists because we have very different opinions, or this person is having pain and or frustrated, or is running around making people feel less safe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's tricky. So we all have to be really careful with this, because I think this we're entering another phase here. I think we've navigated the first couple phases of denial, bargaining. Okay, I guess this is what life is. But this enduring part, and what's coming next, I think we're on new ground again, and I think the emotional well-being of everyone is a little in flux. And so to be really good to yourself, and give yourself space to feel the feeling. So if you feel grateful, feel it. If you're feeling furious, feel it.
Yeah.
But let it come and let it go, because that's what it will do. But bottling it up or denying that you should feel any of those feelings, maybe don't brag about how awesome your life is, but like, you can just feel it. That's fine. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seek out the support. All that. I'm throwing in every bit of advice I can think of all at once.
I like the breadth that you're providing. This is good. The more the better, I figure right now. People need it. Well, all right. I like it. The bakers, the candlestick makers, whoever you are,
the butchers,
don't take no heat, and don't feel bad for who you are and what you're doing. You guys are doing your best. It's like yesterday with Nicole. I could tell she was feeling a little bad that being a parent is so hard right now. But you know what? Freaking, you guys are warriors. People with little kids at home, or even kids that aren't little anymore, or both.
And this would be such a time where I'd love to say, hey, can we take the kids for a little while? We'll take them to a park, to a playground, let you and Mark have some time. But we can't do it, obviously, for like 8 reasons that I just, in that sentence, no playgrounds, no kids, no getting together.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Like, what do you do? Kim, we'd love to take the baby from Taylor all the time. No problem. Let's go do it. But just can't yet. So I don't know, man. So
can I give you something therapeutic?
Yeah, go ahead. What do you got?
All right. I'm going to pick the kitty
up. Is this your cat?
Okay. Right by the microphone. Yep.
All right.
Can we get her?
See if we can get a little something out of her.
Yep. Listen.
Is she purring?
Is it picking up?
Kinda. I hear. It sounds like me snoring.
Yeah, she's not loud.
She's like, I don't want to do it. I love a purring cat, though. I love it.
Yes, very therapeutic.
It's part of. It's why cats are great, and see, probably the only reason they're great.
Not the only reason.
All right, there's other reasons.
And
too.
I have a quick recommendation. If someone needs a book to read, and and you want, sorry, I dropped my microphone. If you need a book to read and you want to know what every therapist is thinking, and how it actually works, it's called "Maybe You Should Talk to Someone" by Lori Gottlieb, and she's a therapist who goes to therapy. So she's talking about going to her own therapy, as she's also talking about her clients. She was a writer for ER, I think, and Friends back in the day. And then she went to medical school, and then she decided to become a therapist. So she's like an awesome writer. It's such a great book. And I will tell you, I'll confirm right now, all the things she says is how your therapist is thinking. And you will feel way more comfortable, I think, going to therapy if you need to, because you'll realize, like, this person really cares about me. It's complicated, and they are also changing. I mean, it's really well done. So there's a great book.
Feels like a book that you better buy for yourself. Don't buy it for somebody else, because if you hand a friend a book called "I Think You Need to Talk to Somebody,"
maybe you should talk to someone. It's very good. Maybe
you should talk to someone. That's what it is.
And the front cover is a tissue box, which is that's the icon.
Like
you guys all think
like
it's
an actual tissue box.
Yeah, well, not. Yeah, an actual tissue box. And it's not, you all think therapy's icon, the icon is the couch to lay down on. It is not. It is the tissue box.
It's the tissue box. It's interesting. Yeah. The stereotypes got it all wrong. Yeah.
Much less comfortable to lay on, though.
Yeah. Well,
so I recommend that. And then I also recommend, if you can take 5 minutes and listen to Esther Perel's podcast about, it's called "Where Should We Begin?" And she has couples that are willing to let her record her sessions. So she does these, it's amazing. You watch her work with these couples. And right now they're all in quarantine. And so it's audio from, there's therapy, tele sessions or whatever, but it's fascinating. And then she's done a couple of different other interviews in different places. There's one on the Political Gab Fest that I would highly recommend. She nails down what's happening to everyone in such a great way. She's awesome.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She has a lovely accent, so I could listen to her all day.
Her website is estherperel.com, just like you think it's spelled, perel.com/podcast, and it's all right here. And you can find her wherever you get your shows. That's cool.
She's great. She has a great way to think about this. She wrote the book Mating in Captivity, which now has a very different meaning.
Yeah.
But she's excellent. But she talks about how the pandemic really is an accelerant. And so it's either going to blow your house up, or it's going to maybe do some movement towards healing or reconciliation, or, some different things. So it's fascinating. So if you want to get into the heads of other people and hear their suffering and hear an expert clinician fix them in front of your eyes, it's awesome. So
also, how cool is it that a lot of your stuff in the last few years has been remote work with patients?
Yeah, like this is nothing has literally changed for me 1 ounce when it comes to work, whereas all of the people I know are like, oh my gosh, this is so hard, it's not effective, I don't know how to do it. And I'm like, yeah, actually it's quite effective. You just gotta, it's because you're not used to that work. It's such a strange place to do it.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law's an ER doc, and he goes, yeah, I just do colonoscopies at home now.
That sounds like a thing
that's
you'd
disgusting.
say.
But imagine if you had to do anything at a particular job, suddenly you do at home. Therapy, it feels like such a strange one to do, because so much is the environment and the safe space you create, and suddenly you're online, and that doesn't feel very safe, and you have to figure out. So I've got a big jump on everybody else, but I mean, it's the future too. So
it is the future, and look at you in the future, just out there
look at
hanging
me,
out.
8 years early to the future.
Yeah, well done.
Can you ever be early to the future? I guess you're always early to the future.
That's
Always
true.
Early.
Oh, time travel confuses me. All right, Wendy, it's a pleasure as always. Glad you're doing okay. Kids are good. Everyone's hanging in there.
Yeah, we're just living our dreams right now.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, it's Wendy Dunford.
Use that instead of fine when somebody asks you how you're doing.
There you go.
Living my best life.
Catch her on the Instagram if you want. Wendy Dunford over there. You can also find her at Therapy Thursdays on Twitter and therapythursdays.com. And don't forget
Steps.org.
I almost said Real Change. Realsteps.org. Go read up about it. Find out when you can be a part of that project. Right now you're in the middle of a batch, right? You're sort of
we are. We're on week 3.
Yeah, I shouldn't say batch. It's not like they're people.
It's a batch. They're like cookies.
They're a batch of people. A batch of people.
Oh, this batch is burnt. Gonna throw them out.
Yeah,
start with a new batch.
Start over. Although I like burnt cookies, but I'm weird. Anyway.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a crispy thing. We got it from my mom. My mom gave us crispy cookie love, and we can't.
You know what this is called, Scott? It's
What?
called a Minnesota goodbye.
Oh, is it really? Because we take forever to say it.
Which is completely the opposite of Scott's typical goodbye.
Oh yeah, usually I hang on.
Usually just hangs up.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, this.
Oh, she goes. There she goes. I got rid of her. That was it.
It's an Irish goodbye.
Is that what that is?
Just like
I didn't know it had a name. That's good. Just Johnson goodbye. Why not? All right. Hopefully she got my joke when I hung up on her that fast. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think she did.
I have her text. I can text her and find out.
Yeah.
Okay. As promised, I hesitate to even play this because I've had a preview, and good Lord, I'm weird. So, all right. So Jamie has been watching and making mashups for me playing Resident Evil 3, which we had another session on Tuesday. And this is actually from a week ago, so he hasn't even done the third one yet. This is the second session. He's called this Chesty Jr. And I don't know.
I can't wait to hear how that comes up in context. Chesty Jr.
Chesty Jr. I don't know. Actually, I don't even remember why that's on there, but we're going to find out together. So here it is. RE3 remake with me. Enjoy.
Okay, ready for some weird, dumb shit? Here you go.
Oh. I'm holding my underboob. Oh, shit. Your grandpa's coming. Ah! Run! Shit.
Hang a hard left.
Shit. He grabbed me by his penis. What do? He's in here? Bullshit. God. Ah! Get in. Ah! Shit. He got me with his penis again. Gosh dang it, dude. Get off of me, you dick. Shit balls. What is this? What is this horse shit? Come here, dick. Oh, that plant. Frick. Oh, shit balls. Run. Get up, you cow. Go that way. He got me with his penis. I died. What? Hey, a fancy butt. You slip his little wiener penis under there? Shit. No. Oh my gosh! Really?
Hold on. Me.
Shit cake! No! What is this shit? No. Oh! Oh shit! I forgot he was walking around. I can't get Tracy Morgan. Get him down. All right, run. Damn it! Oh shit! Shit! This is gonna be shit! Oh bullshit! Damn it! To hell in a bucket! That's some horse shit, is what that is. F that. All right, Chesty Jr., get up. Ah! Oh, frick. Who's that? That was the worst jump scare of the day. The guy in a freaking plaid shirt. Shit! Oh, what? Really? What the hell is that? Run! I'm coming, Carlos, you dick. You haven't been helping me at all. Ah! Shit. Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh, shit. Tracy Morgan, go down. Chris Rock. Ah! Shit. Shit. You shot the zombie Flanders. All right, so some explanation. There are two zombies in the game. One of them looks just like Tracy Morgan, and the other one looks just like Chris Rock. And they repeat. They show up in different times.
Is there going to be a Garrett Morris zombie at some point? Or
all these SNL guys? Yeah. No, it's like, and there's one that looks like Steve-O, although I think that was maybe from the third part, but there's a Steve-O looking zombie, and it's just impossible for me not to see them as these characters.
Chris Rock and Tracy Morgan.
Yeah. So anyway, that was that.
That's hilarious.
Shit cake. All right.
Wow.
Whew. Enjoy. All right. Hey, quick recommendation. We had a really fun Core last night, episode of Core with John and Bo and myself. Talking about the Vigi games and especially a whole bunch of talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake, which those two are just loving. And I just in particular thought it was a really good episode. So if you haven't heard that episode of that gaming show, you may want to go check it out. It is available wherever you get your podcasts. It's called Core. You can also get it on the website, which is at frogpants.com/core. So do check that out. And Brian, you posted a new Coverville yesterday. Anything to say about that?
It was a blast. It was all music from, or covers of songs that were popular on this date in 1980. So Call Me by Blondie, I played a version of Cars by Gary Newman that was almost entirely on steel drum.
Ooh, that's cool.
Which
that's
is
weird.
A lot of fun. Yeah. A cover of Another Brick in the Wall with Lane Staley.
Oh, wow.
The late, great Lane Staley. Lost in Love by Air Supply, covered by the Chevelles. Chromeo doing a really cool, I'll allow it, auto-tune version of I Can't Tell You Why by the Eagles. That is like, it uses enough other electronic instruments in the song that the auto-tune feels like it belongs, as opposed to being out of place if it's like an acoustic song.
Sometimes I hate that, but there are times where you're like, okay, that fits here.
It's got to be balanced. Like if there's enough other electronic stuff going on, then absolutely. I mean, Daft Punk did some great stuff with auto-tune, and that worked because the rest of it was so electronic.
Yeah, I like that.
But for the most part, no.
Yeah, for the most part, screw it. It's a terrible thing.
Keep your auto-tune. Give me some Peter Frampton.
Yeah, I'll take that over. That's the original auto-tune, not this other crap.
Exactly.
Anyway,
so there's that.
All right, so check that out. Support us at patreon.com/TMS. Find all the other things you might need at frogpants.com/TMS. If you're a member of the Patreon, then you'll have a new episode of the PM show tomorrow at 3:30. That live streams to the Patreon site. You have to have a login to get in there. How do you get it? $1 or more a month will get you there. That's it. Just $1 a month will get you into the fifth episode of the week we call TMS PM, and that'll be tomorrow. That's going to do it. Let's play a song and get out of here. What do you got?
Sure. Skylar wrote in and said, this is just a shout out for everybody who still has to kick ass at work, making things and feeding people. As someone who went from 40 hours a week to 60 hours a week at work with the start of this pandemic, I just want to say thank you, and you're awesome, to anybody else stuck doing the same. Thank you, Skylar, and obviously you're doing it too. So we're taking that thank you and sending it right back your way. Whatever you're doing, thank you for doing it. He requested, like, everybody's working for the weekend or school's out for summer or something celebratory about the end of the work week. Why not just take that first request and run with it? And this is a great one. This is Loverboys Working for the Weekend, covered by Josh Grasson for the